What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some Depeche Mode, and I'm back to rectify an oversight, which is to say we're going to listen to Halo from Violator 1991, and this is in fact a track I did a video reaction for, originally on my Patreon, and I think it's now on my YouTube. In the moment, I'm forgetting if it was blocked in select countries. I know it wasn't blocked overall, because when that happens, I try to make a teaser and redirect people over to my Patreon where I can post it in full. But I checked just now, and the full reaction is here on YouTube, though again, maybe in a few countries it's not visible. In any case, I wanted to give a big shout out to those who have been following my video reactions more generally and my Depeche Mode reactions specifically over on Patreon. I immediately think of both Flemish Giant and Chris. Big shout out to both of you. And yes, Halo is a song I've long enjoyed. The video was really interesting because it wasn't one that I remembered. I don't think it was one I had seen before I did that reaction. And even though at first I was struggling to get a sense for what's happening, Martin's in like clown makeup and it's clearly some traveling performance troupe, and then Dave comes in as this mister who disrupts a harmonious relationship and then ultimately is left behind as the woman turns back toward Martin, her, thematic partner. They both are dressed and adorned similarly. But yeah, it took me a bit to get a sense of what was happening in the video, and I understand it was one of the first to have Anton Corbijn as the director, who I now know became their mainstay of videos for several years. Yeah, I then realized that, a lot of the lyrics, which are about a relationship having difficulties, falling apart, and reflective of maybe a disconnect or a lack of full transparency, but also the narrator saying that seemingly no matter what happens, it was worth it. Even if this doesn't work, even if it falls apart, there's some substance to what we have done and what we've been. So yeah, realizing that a lot of the visuals very much fit with the themes of the song, even if at first I was again sort of struggling to get a sense for how it connected to the lyrics. But yes, I discovered that I have not done an audio reaction. So again, I try not to pause too much in my video reactions, and I think I'm getting a bit better about that. But I do pause them because when you have visual stimulus in addition to the music, sometimes you just have to wait, let me see that again, and rewind the video and so on. But when I do these audio reactions, it's very much in the mode that I have long, meaning for decades, listened to music. I put on an album, I put on a record, I listen to a song, I kind of let it wash over me. I don't look at the lyrics right away. I try to re-listen a few times and get a fuller sense of them, and eventually, if I still can't understand some of the lines, I will look at the lyrics in the pamphlet or in more recent years online. But yeah, I do these audio reactions differently. So to be a completist, we're back to listen to Halo. Let's give it a listen. This is Depeche Mode Halo from the 1991 album Violator.
Shackles on your feet, like a halo in rivers. I can feel the discomfort in your seat, and in your head it's worse.
tune. Absolute tune. It's interesting too, like hearing the song now, having seen the video at long last, it does actually change my perspective. I think the lyrics work on both sides of the affair, meaning I think it could be from the perspective of the person doing the cheating who's been in a longer term relationship, or indeed from the person who is being cheated on in the long term relationship. But knowing that Dave in the video plays the third party who comes in to disrupt things for a while, it actually makes the most sense, I think, from his perspective, because he's saying, like, you know, we may deserve this when it falls apart because, you know, we're having a tryst, we're having an affair, and he can see the guilt or the, you know, the uncomfortableness of the other person as they sit there and as they face each other, which is done literally in the video. Like, they're in the camper looking at each other while Martin's by himself outside, and it's like he's saying to the person who is cheating on their significant other, like, I can see your halo in reverse, and, you know, you're bearing this weight of knowing you're doing something wrong, and maybe we both deserve for this to fall apart, but it'll be worth it. And, you know, he's the narrator, if it is the person who's come in as the third party who's disrupting this previously harmonious relationship, he's getting what he wants because he's having intimacy with this person, and maybe the other person is getting what they want. They wanted to, you know, break up the monotony. They wanted some excitement and maybe a relationship that had grown sort of complacent or stagnant, and they're getting what they want, and then maybe again it falls apart, it'll be worth it, and then, as happens in the video, the other person can go back to their significant other, which, you know, in the video Martin seems happy, almost like none the wiser. Like, if he did know, he doesn't, you know, he's not put off by what's happened, and he's just happy to have the woman back in his relationship. So yeah, it's like interesting. I think the song works from any of the three angles, but maybe it makes the most sense, and as I've come to understand through the video, from the point of view of the third party who came in and caused problems with this previously connected relationship. So yeah, it's interesting. Again, like, it's a song that I've long enjoyed, a song, you know, where I've thought about the lyrics, but videos can enhance. Now, to be fair, and I often talk about this, there's a lot of 80s video, and I get it, this is 91, but I still think this counts or applies to videos at least into the early part of the 90s, where, like, they don't really have any apparent connection to the lyrics. They're just kind of this crazy thing in the 80s, and, like, you know, they're wild, they're interesting, but at best they're tangentially connected to the lyrics. But I think in this case, it's actually enlightening to see what they did with the video relative to the song lyrics and the theme. So yeah, shout out to Anton Corbin is, I guess, what I'm saying. In any case, let me know what you think of this tune. As people will know, I've been jumping around with the Depeche Mode audio reactions, and over time they've become a bit less frequent just because now I've gone through a lot of the stuff that I am most familiar with and nostalgic about, the 80s and 90s stuff. But I think there's still some of the stuff on their 90s albums. There's at least probably a couple from Ultra I haven't reacted to, maybe one or two from Songs of Faith and Devotion. But when it comes to, you know, Sounds of the Universe or Spirit or Delta Machine, I think there's at least a few on each of those I haven't reacted to. And Memento Mori, I think I went through completely because that was like fresh when it came out, so I went through it from beginning to end. But the point is, I do have more Depeche Mode reactions to go through, mostly post-2000, so we'll continue to go through those over time. Let me know what you think of this, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.